This is video number 6 in a series on foundations of arithmetic, algebra, and graphing. I'm Bill Kinney. Subtitle here is Multiplication of Integers, Meaning and Application, Part 3 of that sub-series. And I cut the last video off short on a problem because I was going long. I'm going to finish that problem. These videos are ending up being longer than I was hoping, so I'm going to try to make this one shorter. Hopefully we will succeed. I will succeed. Here was the last problem we looked at in video number 5, which was part 2 of the series on multiplication of integers. I didn't get to quite doing this last problem here, this last question of this problem. We did solve the first question. You earn $9 per hour and work an 8-hour shift. How much money do you make during that shift? And the answer to that was $72. 9 times 8 is 72. Now let's answer the second question. Assuming you work 5 shifts per week, how much money do you make in a week? Well, we can think of it a couple different ways. Let's think about it from scratch, forgetting about what our answer was from the previous question. If we think about it from scratch, we'd write out the multiplication we need to do, and it is a multiplication, as $9 per hour times 8. Now the unit for the answer to the previous one here was hours, but because we're ultimately going to be thinking about having 5 shifts per week, and we don't want the word shifts in our final answer in terms of for the unit. It'll be better if we think of this 8 hours as 8 hours per shift. And again, it doesn't matter if I make the hours plural or not. And that's ultimately going to be multiplied by 5 shifts per week. And actually, that 8 hours per shift, I could have used that unit up in the first question as well. If I had done so, 8 hours per shift, then I would have written my final answer as $72 per shift. And that would have been fine too, because it is $72 that you get in a shift. So you can think of the answer either way as just $72, or you can think of it as $72 per shift, but make sure you're consistent. If you just want to write your answer in dollars, then don't have the shift here at all. If you want to write your answer in dollars per shift, then do put the shift there when you show your work. Coming back here, it is probably best to write it as I've done, though then your answer will be in dollars per week, because the hours cancel and the shifts cancel. This multiplication is going to give you the number of dollars per week for your final answer. What is the final answer here? It's 9 times 8. You can do that first. $72. And then times 5 next. Dollars per week. And then you can do 72 times 5, and you can use your calculator if you want for that. I'll do it in my head, and here's how I do it in my head, just a little trick. I first think of what's 70 times 5, and that's 350. And what's 2 times 5, that's 10. And it turns out you can add those numbers to get 360 as what 72 times 5 is. And this would be in dollars per week. That's how much you would earn during the week. A couple algebra things to point out here. I could have also done this problem as doing the 8 times 5 first, and written my answer as 9 times 40, which is also 360, and the final units again would be in dollars per week. So that's illustrating another algebra property called the associative property, actually. If I think of it the first way, I'm really imagining doing 9 times 8 first to get the 72, and then times 5. If I do it the second way, back over here, I'm doing the 8 times 5 first, and so I'd put those in parentheses to get 40, and then I have the 9 here. It doesn't matter which product you do first, 9 times 8 or 8 times 5, you get the same answer in the end, and that's called the associative property. You can associate the numbers in different ways and still get the same thing with multiplication like this. The parentheses are kind of indicating an association, and that's how I remember the name. One other quick question. We'll just solve it real quick in about a minute here. It's pretty easy, hopefully, for you. You drive your car at 60 miles per hour for 4 hours. How far do you go? Why don't you just pause the video and solve it yourself? Include units. All right, you back? Here's how you'd write it out. 60 miles per hour times 4 hours will give you 240 miles. Indeed, the hour units cancel. Again, I'm going ahead and talking about canceling units here, even though I haven't talked about fractions of numbers and division. But hopefully you're fine with that right now, because we will get to that in another video soon.